The end of the Clone Wars was something that always made Rex question his future. He thought what would become of him and his brothers once the Separatists were defeated. Would they continue to serve the Republic, or be cast aside once some sort of peace was once again achieved? Those were his thoughts years ago. Now he asked a different set of questions. The most important being, how will his brothers that he rescued fight back? He had scoured the galaxy, freeing other clones from the danger that was planted in their heads. The inhibitor chips. The blasted things even made him turn into a cold-blooded killer, powerless to return to his former self. It was Ahsoka Tano who pulled him back, and it is his mission to do the same for others. His usual location to do so was on the scrap world of Bracca, where Republic cruisers of the old Navy are dumped on a routine basis. However, the latest excursion was interrupted by a detachment of clones he once knew. He called them the Bad Batch, yet, like so many things under Imperial protocol, nicknames were against procedure, so they only knew themselves as Clone Force 99. They would make great allies if they were freed of their inhibitors, he thought. Yet, they weren't, which makes them the greatest danger to what he has brewing. The Republic gunship that he boarded landed on an outskirts world, where an old abandoned village has become the base for his freed and rescued clone brothers. It has become the only location in the galaxy with any hint of how the Republic and its army operated. Some clones sat at makeshift consoles, monitoring Imperial activity, while also watching for any signal from clones scattered throughout the galaxy looking for help. Once Rex landed, he made sure the newest additions to the base felt as welcomed as possible, telling them to find an empty house and make it their own. However, one of the technicians approached Rex with troubling news. "Captain Rex, sir, I hate to tell you this, but your gunship was traced. We found this tracker attached to the bottom. Do you know who could have done it?" The technician was understandably worried, as there was no telling who knew where their base was, though Rex knew exactly who had an idea, and soon he began to worry, not exactly for who tracked them, but who they worked for. The Empire. Rex's words trailed off as he began to ponder his next move for his brothers. "Prep the base for invasion. They'll be coming soon." There was a chill as the clones thought that this was the safest place for them, uncharted territory and living in a forgotten city. Though it became quick to realize that there was no secret the Empire couldn't uncover. The individual responsible for the tracker, Crosshair, soon brought the news to the rest of his team. The tracker has pinged somewhere in the unknown regions. The planet is unnamed as well. They did a good job to stay off the radar. Crosshair had respect for those smart enough to make him work for the kill, and Rex had done just that. "I think it's best we send a probe droid before launching our attack." Tech was already moving to the back of the Hobbit Marauder to prep the droid. "Good thinking. Admiral Rampart has given us a platoon of Regs as well. We'll handle this, no problem." Hunter then began laying out the next part of the plan while he sent the location to the frigate carrying their reinforcements. "Once we infiltrate the base, CT-7567 is needed alive. He's the only one who knows where Ahsoka Tano is, and until we know, he is priority status. Got it?" The rest of Clone Force 99 nodded in approval as Tech launched the probe droid after keying in coordinates of Crosshair's tracker. While they waited for the droid to arrive, Tech did one more medical scan of Crosshair. "You are 96.7% healed from the injury sustained on Alderaan. It is safe to say that you are cleared for the mission to capture CT-7567, though it's recommended you avoid any frontline combat. Tech continued, keying away at his datapad. I know what I'm capable of. Your numbers aren't always fact, Tech. Without even looking up, Tech responded. On the contrary, the numbers I calculate are crucial to the success of every mission we've undertaken, and in that way... Would you shut up for once? We're getting ready for a real fight, and you two talking is killing the mood. Wreckers stalked around the ship, anxious to launch, but nothing could get going without the data from the Prodroid. After what seemed like an eternity of wait, they received that data. The Prodroid landed on the outskirts of what seemed to be a well-fortified city. Clones lined a trench created outside it. Turrets were raised, and Hunter knew that they were dealing with more than a bunch of outcasts hiding in the woods. These were clones who were raised only to fight. It's what they knew best. He knew they were going to need more troops to break those defenses, and immediately contacted the frigate where their reinforcements were coming from. Come in, frigate C7111. This is CT9901 on board the Havoc Marauder. It was only a few seconds before a response came in. This is Captain Constantine of Marauders Guild. What is the reason for the contact, Sergeant? Hunter was clear in his words, knowing that he had no time to make a formal request. We need more troops for the upcoming assault. A second platoon will be necessary to complete the mission. The mission detailed only one was provided. Now the detail has been altered. Head to the location now and be prepared with a second platoon. Do you understand? There was a moment of silence before the captain of the vessel agreed. In time, the Havoc Marauder met with Marauders Guild in the orbit above the target planet. An order was given and troopers were sent down to the surface below. The irony of this situation turned out to be that troopers being sent were clones themselves, tasked with taking out a base of their brothers. Though for them, these rogues betrayed them for a weaker, insignificant cause. Clone Force 99 knew that the Regs would be capable enough to thin the herd before they themselves launched to the surface. Below, Rex analyzed a tactical readout that showed the ships above orbit. He was joined by two others, Boomer, a clone who also served with him in the 501st, and by Commander Doom, who he had freed of his inhibitor some time before. We knew this was going to happen, but not so soon. Doom had seen many battles during the Clone Wars, and the incident involving his Jedi generals opened his eyes to something bigger, which made it easier for Rex to convince him to remove his inhibitor. There's nowhere to run. That's just how we like it, hey boys? Rex respected the drive that Doom had to fight, but couldn't help but worry. Everyone that was here was all they had. There would be no reinforcements. He now watched from the old palace as Imperial landing shuttles landed on the outskirts, and waves of troops marched out. He felt sick that they were clones, but he had long accepted that he couldn't save every clone from the grip of the Empire. But he was determined to protect the ones he already had. He gave the order to open fire, and his brothers did just that. Despite every participant in the battle being a clone, it was clear to tell sides. The Imperials had shed their colors, wearing armor that would have gotten them called shinies by the more experienced soldier. And Rex forces did the opposite, still proudly displaying their colors, whether it be for pride or honoring their fallen brothers. Regardless of why, they fought on against their invaders. Clone Force 99 monitored the progress from above, and Tech chimed in with what he saw as crucial information. The assault is going as expected, yet if it is to continue this way, now is the time for us to join the battle. Finally, let's go down there! With that, the Havoc Marauder jetted down to the surface and landed next to the other shuttles. Rex spotted the ship belonging to Bad Batch. It was only a matter of time, Rex whispered to himself before raising communication to Commander Doom on the front. Doom, Clone Force 99 is entering the fray. Doom, report in. Aye, Regent. We'll be ready for him, but prep the inner defenses. Blaster fire cut Doom out of the comlink as Rex ordered all troops to prepare in case the outer line falls. Much against his hope, that was only minutes away from happening now that Clone Force 99 pushed ahead alongside the Regs. "Stay down, traitors!" Wrecker almost couldn't contain himself as he fired away. Crosshair found whatever cover he could as he took shots at the defending clone forces. "Push right! Let the Regs handle the middle!" Hunter yelled out as they moved into positions. As the battle dragged on, they knew they had the upper hand. Eventually, the trench was cleared and the Imperial forces pushed into the small town. It wouldn't take much to make quick work of those that were left, yet eventually, Clone Force 99 found their way to Captain Rex, who was backing away from a terminal, just finishing what appeared to be a transmission. "Don't move, traitor. You won't get away this time. You have nothing more to run to. Well, except your Jedi friend. But we'll handle that too." Hunter and the rest of Clone Force 99 surrounded Rex. "You're still on that, Hunter. Don't you see this isn't you? Don't you all see that? You're not making these choices on your own." Rex continued to try to reach what lay beneath with Clone Force 99. "That's the talk of a traitor. Tech, hack that console. Find out where he sent that transmission." Hunter then turned back to Rex. "You have until he finishes to give up the location of Ahsoka Tano, or you'll end up like every other traitor here. You can kill me, but why don't you ask your superiors about what's in your head? The inhibitors, they use them to make you obedient. They turn you into heartless killers for them. Whatever they do, they have their reasons. For that, we have a purpose. Though your purpose is wearing thin. Where is Tano?" Hunter pressed closer, but Rex looked unfazed. "I got the location," Tech alerted as Hunter zeroed in on Rex. "Your time's up, traitor." Hunter fired a burst of shots into the chest of CT-7567, sending him to the ground. The four clones headed back to the Havoc Marauder with the information they now had. Once on board, Tech sent all information they had to the newly appointed Governor Tarkin, who contacted them personally. "Your work here is greatly appreciated, Clone Force 99. Yet, the task of hunting Ahsoka Tano has been personally delegated to Lord Vader. Your services for this matter are completed. You may return to Kamino at once until you receive your next mission." "Understood, Governor." The transmission faded as Clone Force 99 sat silent for the rest of the journey back to Kamino. They all thought about the inhibitor that Rex mentioned, and all decided that if no one else brought it up, they wouldn't either. Their only goal now was to get back home. And that is the end of the Bad Batch Accepts Order 66. I know it's been a long journey to end this series. I've had a lot of stuff come up over the past, so I wasn't able to finish it as soon as I would have liked to, but I'm happy to reach this moment, and I'm happy that everybody who has watched it enjoyed it and really took this ride on a new story for me. I really have not done an Imperial-centric story in a long time, and it's also refreshing to do this because just like with the Bad Batch, it was fun to do this from a standpoint of not having any Force users, really focusing more on the clones in this, on this time period. Like I said, just with they did with the Bad Batch. So that's the inspiration I had there. Now, as per usual with Altered History episodes, there will be a behind the scenes where I give you guys my thought process, unused ideas, things like that. So if you're looking forward to that, be on the lookout for it. It should be dropping next Sunday. Now on that note, I'm looking to get back on a normal schedule, not just on the Marauders Guild, but on the sister channel for this, which is MG+. Now over there, I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff with the game Marvel's Avengers. I'm maybe going to turn that channel into something that's centric around that, also other stuff. But that's house cleaning. We'll talk about that at a later time. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you have not already. Also, ring that bell to get notified about any upload here on the Marauders Guild. And until the next time, may the force of others be with you.